We were talking, we had choices this morning. In fact, some of us are still here. And we were talking this morning about, you know, so what people might be saying right now is my life sucks. I don't like the way things are going. There's no entertainment, there's no bars, there's no distractions, there's no, I can't go anywhere. I can't, all I can do is sit here and stream movies and I'm bored out of my mind. Whatever. So their life sucks, right? Some people are actually breaking down. There's an increase in suicides attempts, mental illness, all of that. So we were asking the question, I wonder how we could bring people from my life sucks to what must I do to be saved? And sometimes it's just a question. How is it going? And when they tell you my life sucks, we could ask, is there anything that might be missing? If they're having trouble connecting the dots and they're having trouble with critical thinking, for example, or being able to complete a thought or connect two thoughts together, right? There might be a sense of, well, my life sucks and I don't know why, or I think it's because of this virus, But really, my life sucks. If my life sucks, it's because I'm not in relationship with God.
Yes.
Right? So this is an opportunity. We're not doing the four spiritual laws right now. We're doing love. We're just asking the question.
Yeah.
Might there be anything missing? What might be missing from your life right
now? Yeah.
And just let them talk and kind of walk through it with them. It kind of reminds me of Philip the evangelist with the Ethiopian. Do you understand what you're reading? How can I unless someone helps me?
Yeah.
Well, let me help you.
So have you seen any difference because I think I might have written you a question, but I was curious. Mm-hmm. It just seems like the people who are on the fringes and edges, when anything happens in society, they feel it first.
Mm-hmm.
And have you seen specific things where people already in crisis, now enveloped in crisis around them, are even more dramatically impacted?
Well, so we know I'm part of the Ramsey County Heading Home Continuum of Care. So I'm aware of some of what's being done to open up shelters and open up hotel rooms and vouchers and things to get people off the street. So I know that that's happening. I also know that that is not sustainable. So it's going to be interesting to see how that goes. It could be very challenging in the next week or so. And some measure of enforcement. So I see that I haven't read the announcement yet, but did we just get a shelter-in-place order from the governor?
Yeah, I've been busy all morning, so I haven't seen anything.
Okay, so it's possible that we did, and if we did, it would start on the 27th. So I have to confirm that. I'm not sure, but in any event, that's going to make it more interesting because there's going to have to be enforcement, right? Something's going to have to happen to keep law and order. So I'm not sure how that will go. I don't think it will be good. So what we're seeing though is, like I said, people that have been sort of one foot in, 1 foot out are coming in. So there's more of a willingness. If you can't get your EBT card or you can't get your stipend or your money or whatever, you can't get help. Where do you go? So there aren't many churches open right now. We decided to stay open because we are small and we can do less than 10. And we put social distancing measures in place in the building so we can be safe. So we do less than 10 and we have social distancing. We also do a lot online, so we live stream stuff so people don't have to come here to be part of what we're doing, but we are open. So when people walk in, we're here. Okay. So that's what's happening here in our particular situation. But I know a lot of churches are closed. So where do you go? Where do you go?
Right.
So the reason we decided to stay open is because we believe the church is where you go. You know? So, I mean, where else do you go? If everything's closed, where do you go? So we'll see. Maybe it would be good for groups to start hanging out in grocery stores where the people are. You know, where will people be? We need little bands of believers there to kind of walk with them through this crisis.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. You know, start mobilizing the people to be out where people are. I know our group did an outreach yesterday with Storehouse. I'm not sure if you know Carl Johnson. He's with Faith City Church here in Dayton's Bluff. Anyway, they have a food disparity ministry, and they opened a grocery store called Storehouse. This was a while ago, and their heart is to mobilize food resources into the community. So he gave us 100 burritos to hand out yesterday, and our team just flooded the city and handed out burritos. So there are things like that happening, but we might need to be a little bit more intentional about it and more focused. Certainly prayer, churches can pray, and to act. I kind of think we need to have teams of people out where the people are.
Yeah.
So that's what I see.
Yeah. So you've been, what, 25 some years you've been connecting with building relationships on Payne Avenue. And so, you know, some of these people many, many years. Have you had conversations with some of those that maybe they have been distant and?
Well, what we're seeing is the people that come in aren't necessarily from Payne Avenue, but they are from St. Paul, or they're staying in the vicinity of St. Paul. There are resources in Minneapolis that it's a little harder to get back and forth, but the train still runs. You know, and people, I've got one person here right now who stays in the Salvation Army in Minneapolis, and she takes the train over because she knows she can come in here. There's just not many places they can come in.
Yeah.
And we're not a drop-in center. We're a church. So we really aren't equipped for people to sleep here. You know, and it's not appropriate. They need to go back to their shelter, but there's lots of shelter right now. It's just that there's no support. That makes sense?
Yeah. So there's no people at the shelters, is what you're saying?
No, there's people at the shelters. There's no people at Ramsey County. I mean, you know, they can't get in. They can't get into the places that they used to go.
I see. Wow.
The libraries. You know, places that people used to go to get out of the cold and go, you know, have a cup of coffee are all closed.
Well, is there anything that we can pray for or that you need in particular, or like need words sent out to the broader community? Hey,
amen.
Bring us
Thank
something
you.
or.
Yeah. So we want to. We're going out. So what we need is laborers for the harvest. Okay, we need people to be willing to go out into a grocery store or out into a dollar store or out into a Walmart and just be there. Just be there and just stand there and just be available to help. You could have a little, you know, sign that says, "We're here to help. Anyone need help?" You're going to find a lot of people. Wow. How the help starts for us is, you know, we say, is there anything we can pray for you about? You know, And then we get on 211 United Way, first call for help, and start connecting them to resources.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
And just start walking with them.
Yeah. Laborers for the harvest.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah. That's what we need.
Yeah.
Thank you guys so much for having some homeless care kits for us. We are, I think, distributing the last 5 or 6 of those right now.
Okay.
Those were awesome. Thank you so much, because blankets are, even if they're staying in a shelter, they still need blankets. You know,
Right.
Blankets are a private space. They're, a covering. So we had a request the other night from a group that decided not to go into shelter. They went deeper into the woods, and they asked for tarps and blankets.
Tarps and blankets. Okay.
Mm-hmm. So those are the supplies that we need.
Yeah.
We don't want to become a feeding center. We're really not a feeding center.
Yeah.
I think Higher Ground is still feeding here in St. Paul. I know they were the other day. They're still handing out meals. I know Union Gospel Mission is still handing out meals, but they only serve men now.
Yeah.
They used to serve ladies, but now they only serve guys. But Higher Ground serves women, so that's awesome, and they can get meals, But it's just, there's just a lot of uncertainty, a lot of people that don't know what to expect next, because every day it changes. Okay, so today we got this notification that we're going to start sheltering in place starting on the 27th. Well, okay, what does that mean now? Does that mean we round everybody up, arrest them, and take them to a hotel? I mean, what do we do? What is that?
Yeah.
So we just don't know what it means. And, if it means nobody gets to go outside unless you're going to the grocery store, then that's where the people will be. So that's what I'm saying.
Yeah. So if someone had a significant or a carload of stuff, blankets.
Mm-hmm. They could go to the grocery store, park in the parking lot.
Okay.
Just go there and be there. Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yep.
And
that's what we do.
Yeah.
Yep.
And would you want some, if they're just willing to give them?
Yeah, absolutely.
Would you want them to call
them.
your phone number and?
Yep, they could do that.
Just say, hey, this is what we got. Do you want it?
Well, they could go on our website. Our calendar is posted on our website.
Oh, okay.
So I've highlighted in yellow everything we're doing online. So anything that isn't online is here at the church. Everything at the church is also online, but we may not be here at the physical church if we're only doing it online. Okay. Does that make sense? So we're trying to make a distinction and show people that we're here for certain things. We're here on Sundays for our regular services. We're here on Wednesdays for Choices and Celebrate Recovery. So we're here on Sundays and Wednesdays. Those are good days if they just want to drop a donation off. So I guess what I'm saying is we don't need clothes. Please don't bring clothes. We don't need, like one lady keeps bringing us depends. We don't need depends. The people who need depends don't come here.
Yeah.
Okay. They mean well, but it's not helpful. I just have to take them out to the back and try to get rid of them,
Yeah.
So, but we can use blankets. We can use tarps. I don't know. Jason, are you here? Oh, he must have stepped out. I was going to ask Jason if he had any thoughts, but I know blankets and tarps are certainly helpful, even when they're in shelters.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. I mean, you guys know what they need. You put it in your care kits.
Right. Yeah. I just wonder if it's, how are things different right now with everything changing and that? So.
I think food, like food banks, I don't know if food banks are even open, but I know if you show up with a trunk load of toilet paper, you're going to have lots of opportunities to pray with people.
Yeah.
But we have, toilet paper here. We're not giving it out, but we have it for the building, and some of our staff actually couldn't find any, and we let them take a roll.
Yeah.
You know, so that's pretty serious when you can't find it. You know, so that's a hygiene issue.
Right.
So, you know, we need to realize there's other things going on besides the virus. So, people still have all of the same health conditions that they had before.
Yeah. Yeah.
People still have all the medication needs that they had before, have all of the social and mental health issues they had before, only more serious
Yeah.
because of the crisis. So it's really, I don't know what other churches are doing, but what we're trying to do is be out in the community, be out in the middle of it.
Yeah.
And when we're here at the building, we're receiving people and we're just dealing with what comes up. So we have a gentleman here, for example, right now who is trying to get his phone working. He needed a place to plug in, and now he's trying to connect with the service to get his phone working. So
Yeah.
he
He
just
got
needed a
cut off
place
from
that
the
had
world.
internet. Right. And,
Yeah.
you know, he couldn't charge his phone. He couldn't, you know, he didn't have a phone to use to call to get help. I mean, you know, so it's that kind of thing. You know, there's one-offs. Not everybody has a problem with their phone,
Yeah.
but we're helping where we can,
Right.
you know,
Yeah.
with what comes in our door.